A very good morning and warm welcome to Money Sense. Your host this morning is just myself, Simon Cordery. I'm delighted to be joined in the studio this morning by perhaps our largest ever number of guests. We have a veritable team of people here. And in fact, team is exactly the right word, because we welcome this morning the Cayman Islands Research Challenge team from UCCI, their faculty advisor and industry mentor. Without further ado, therefore, let me just introduce you to the team. Manisha Gupta is the industry mentor for the team, and then I'll have everyone around the table here just introduce themselves and say who they are. So Manisha, why don't you kick it off?
Hi, my name is Manisha Gupta. I'm the work at Northview Investment Advisor. I'm acted as an industry mentor for the UCCI team this year.
Excellent. Go on then.
My name is Regina. I am a student of the UCCI University College, and I was a participant of this year's CFA competition.
And what did you study at UCCI?
I study accounting.
Fabulous. Okay.
I am Hepzibah Angel, and I am an associate student at UCCI. This is my second year now.
Studying?
Accounting.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Chantal Tigley. I'm studying accounting, and I've also had the pleasure of leading this team for this year's CFA competition.
Great.
Hi everyone, my name is Janelle Dyer and I'm currently going to the University College of the Cayman Islands pursuing my Associates of Applied Science in Accounting.
Hi, my name is Josue Sanchez-Ebanks and I am a student at UCCI currently studying business administration and will go further studying accounting in my bachelor's degree.
Excellent. And then we turn, last but by no means least, to our faculty advisor, if that's right.
Yeah, that's correct. My name is Khadija Swearing, and I was the faculty advisor for the university's team for the CFA Research Challenge, and I've been the faculty advisor for the last 4 years.
Excellent. So there's probably a lot of people who are listening to the show this morning who are saying, first of all, what on earth is the CFA Institute Research Challenge? So before we come to actually what you guys did, let's just ask Manisha to give a bit of background then on the challenge and what it means.
The CFA Research Challenge is an annual global competition that provides university students with hands-on mentoring and intensive training in financial analysis. Each research challenge season leverages efforts of over 140 CFA members, 3,500 members and volunteers, and over 5,000 students from over 1,000 universities. This year, Cayman was lucky to submit a team from UCCI to compete in this very prestigious competition.
And if I'm not mistaken, there was a variety of different stages the team had to go through, so it wasn't as simple as enter and guaranteed entry.
Completely,
right?
Yeah. So the students here worked tirelessly from the months of September to December to submit a research report that was judged against other universities, I believe 6 in totals, to make the next round to compete in Miami at the regional levels.
So all you guys around the table, you will compete. You will write a research report, and we'll talk some more detail about that. Passed that round, got narrowed down to the finalists, and then went to Miami and competed. So, who wants to actually just perhaps explain to me then what was the research report? What was the competition about from your perspective? How did you find it, and what was it?
The competition was very enlightening, since that we are all associate students and we did not know how to conduct it at first. But essentially, the competition is about evaluating a company, and in the end, we had to issue a recommendation whether we recommended buy, a sell, or a hold for the company's stock.
And so you had to write a research report on a company. Tell us what the company was.
The company was SodaStream. It's a manufacturer, seller, and distributor of home carbonation system, and it's also based in Israel. Yes.
Well, SodaStream, so those are the people that make those devices that just carbonate drinks and fizzy water and sodas, Coke or colas, I suppose. Is that right? Who can tell me a little bit more about the actual company and what it does and its operations?
It operates, as Kimi said, it's based in Israel, and it sells home carbonation devices.
So it operates in Israel, but it's an international company. It's just their headquarters. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It has other factories all over the world, in China, Australia, all over Germany, all over the globe.
And so tell me a little bit, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the company, what was the time and effort, and how did you go about doing this? Writing a research report, it takes a long time. There's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of reading, a lot of conversations. How did you begin to, first of all, know anything about the company? And presumably this was something that you were just presented with, is that right? So how did you know something about the company in the first instance?
Well, we were given a presentation a very good presentation by someone from the industry, Mr. Isaac, if I remember correctly. And
Someone from the company, did you say?
No, industry.
Oh, sorry, from the industry.
And he gave us an overview of what the company is, which gave us an idea. But also at the same time, we did our own research, and we went through a lot of news. To be honest, we discarded some stuff that we found before because it was irrelevant. But in the end, we gathered what we felt that are most important.
And
So, yeah.
how many hours did you think, or would you guess? I mean, it's difficult perhaps to know for certain, but how many hours do you think you spent as a team? You know, if you add up the five people here, how many hours do you think you as a team actually spent doing this research?
Oh, I don't know about hours, but I am quite confident saying that we spent our entire winter break doing this competition, even in New Year's Eve and all that.
Goodness me, and that's the case for all of you. Is that the case for yourself?
Right.
And did you have fun?
Well, it was a very mind-opening competition and research. It really showed us how to appreciate the industry in which Cayman excels in. It also gave us an opportunity to know other people.
And when you say other people, explain to me what you mean by that.
Well, other people, if it wasn't for the research challenge, I would have known Miss Manisha. I wouldn't have known the people from the competition overseas.
So, of course, you got to know some students from other countries, presumably.
Right.
And remind me which other countries were involved in this tournament.
I believe it was Jamaica,
Trinidad
and Tobago,
Barbados.
and
Barbados.
Barbados.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you were in Miami then competing. And just tell us a little bit about the mechanics of the actual competition or the tournament and what you had to do. So just tell us about, you had to write a research report, then you had to do a presentation. So just give us some explanation as to what that was. Go on, one of you is going to have to be brave and tell us what it was all about.
Well, the report was, as you said, it was the first one that we had to make. And in the report, it had different sections that we gave out to different members of the team. And after finishing the report, we went on to create a PowerPoint presentation, and then we practiced tirelessly to make sure that our presentation is, very good and very well done. Yeah.
Perhaps I'll go around the table and ask each person here, what do you think was the biggest learning experience, or what you learnt most or found out most about yourself as you were doing this? Is there something that you can pinpoint as to what your experience was, what it meant to you the most?
Well, this experience opened my brain, my mind, to accepting what I want to become in the future. I actually, with this competition, I would like to become a CFA holder, and also I also want to become an accountant. This research also gave me an opportunity to see other parts in the industry and see if I would like it. Like, we also had to do research on the marketing strategies of the company and the financial statements of the company to eventually come up with a valuation of it. And personally, I think that the financial part of this whole competition got to me the most.
So you're someone for whom the tournament and the competition has motivated you to stay to get into the industry.
Right.
Is anyone around this table, as a result of the tournament, terrified of the industry now, or are people more interested or more excited about being involved? What about anyone else have a comment to make on that? What about yourself? Did you what do you think about the finance industry having taken part in the tournament?
After taking part in this tournament, I would consider entering the finance industry for the simple fact that it isn't easy going. You have to think, you have to always, I would say, be attentive type. And
so you're not scared away by, you enjoyed the hard work and enjoyed the challenge.
yeah, I think the challenge was actually a good thing because it allows you to become eager to learn more, because we entered this competition not knowing anything, and we were always learning, and I enjoy learning. So
Excellent. What about the other two team members who we haven't heard from? Did you enjoy? Well, first of all, did you enjoy the tournament? Did you enjoy the challenge, all the hours involved and such like?
I enjoy entering the challenge, mainly because it pushed me out of my comfort zone. I'm not really big on presenting. I get nervous in front of people. So the oral presentation was the part where I was the weakest in. But along the way, after lots of practice, I became better and I've improved, and I'm proud of myself for that.
Excellent. And what about yourself?
I can agree with my team members. I like to learn, as Janelle has said, and I'm really bad at oral presentations, as Hepzibah said, and this competition has really allowed me to improve and to really grow in those regards.
And do you think you see yourself as a career in the finance and investment industry, perhaps?
Yes, yeah. This competition has really allowed me to develop an appreciation for this field.
Excellent.
For that field, yeah.
Everyone, and I haven't heard from you, the team captain. Sorry, I should ask.
It's
ask
fine.
you. Did you hopefully had fun? Did you have fun?
Oh yes, definitely.
And what about your attitude to the finance industry, having taken part?
Oh, I'm definitely interested in it. At first, I only had a fake idea of what finance is like. It wasn't really concrete in my mind, but after doing this competition, it solidified what my understanding of the finance industry is, and I think that I would like to enter it once I graduate, and also work for my CFA designation. So,
I guess there's some success in that we've signed up 2 new recruits potentially to take the exam, and I will warn you that as difficult as you might have found the finance research challenge, the CFA exam takes 3 years. It's rather like doing a master's degree in terms of the length of time. So your study doesn't end just because you graduate university. I'm afraid to say to you on that one. What was it like? You guys were representing the Cayman Islands in this. You were representing UCCI, but also representing the country.
Yes, that's right.
Did you feel any burden of that, or was that part of the excitement of doing it? What do you think?
I think that was part of the excitement, honestly. I mean, I can't speak for the others, but I felt more pressure to do well, to do excellent in our presentation, because we want to make sure that others know that Cayman Islands knows how to prepare their students so that we can excel in front of other countries in the Caribbean.
What about yourself?
It was not a burden. It was something that I would take with me for a good while. I believe that representing an island is a very good opportunity to show the world, to show people that UCCI prepares their students to excel in life in the future. UCCI is also giving us a great opportunity in this competition. And they are also working hard on their students so that when we leave the college, we just don't know theory. We know how to do the hands-on job. Perhaps I should have asked this question perhaps at the beginning, but what motivated you to want to give up, as you said, all of your, was it winter break? Tireless days, and that's a couple of weeks, isn't it, at least, if I'm not mistaken. So, and there's many hours in a day. So what motivated you to do all this extra work and almost sacrifice part of Christmas, part of New Year? What was the motivating factor as an individual? I always heard that the CFA it's very challenging, and I like a challenge. Obviously, it is a research, and as the name implies, it's a challenge. It allowed me to think. It allowed me to be analytical, which is something that I should have for the career I want to pursue.
Mm-hmm. It allowed you to do that, and rewarding as a result of, despite all the hours, still rewarding.
Very rewarding. It's
fabulous to hear. It's amazing that, I mean, the number of hours that people put into this, and I know it's the case in the other teams as well. You know, that we've got, 5,000 students around the world participating, all doing this out of their own time and enjoying it. Although perhaps some of the pain in the process, not all of it was necessarily painless, but rewarding at the end of it. Well, look, we're going to take a short break, I think, in a few moments. But before we do that, I just want to sort of prep you guys and say, look, what I'd like to hear about after the break is just hear your background and your thoughts on the company. And we're going to talk a little bit about SodaStream, and we'll talk about why you recommended what you did recommend, why you what the rationale for that was, some of the background as to the presentation that you did when you were actually up in Miami in front of the judges. And we'll also just talk about the judging process, because that, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't exactly painless either, in the sense that you've got serious industry people in front of you and marking you and scoring you, and these are people who have been and done this industry for a while. So we'll take a short break and then we'll come back and talk about that.
This is Money Sense, bringing an informed financial perspective to the Cayman community. Brought to you by the CFA Society Cayman Islands and sponsored by One Trade X.
And now, more Money Sense.
Okay, welcome back. We're joined this morning by the Research Challenge team from University College Cayman Islands, who partook in a Research Challenge tournament in January. Was it January? Yeah, in January up in Miami, and represented the Cayman Islands. And we're having them in to talk about what their research proposal was, what their recommendation was, what the company was that they were writing about and presenting about. So let's get right back into it, and let's ask you, describe in some more detail what the company does, why it does it, and what your recommendation was, and just what made you come up with that recommendation. So let's hear about the company.
Well, SodaStream is a company known to manufacture, sell, and distribute home carbonation systems, and we recommended a buy with a 1-year target price of $98.03. It represented a 37.49% upside from our closing price of $71.40 from January the 3rd, 2018. We gave this recommendation because we thought that SodaStream had favorable demand trends and a revenue sustainable model, among other reasons.
Excellent. Well, and before the show, I did a little bit of research, and you said to me that SodaStream, at the date that you were writing the recommendation, was $71, and your recommended price was $98.
98.
Well, today, the price of SodaStream is around about, I don't know if you know this, it's around about $91. $91. Yeah. So that seemed like a fairly good recommendation, and you're suggesting a buy. Something was $70 you were thinking it should be worth $98, and it's today worth $90. Did any of you tell any of your family, any of your friends invest in it? Did any of you do any of that?
I really regret not investing in the company.
At the very beginning, right?
At the very beginning.
Well, everyone regrets not investing in a company that goes up a lot. That's for sure. The question is, not everything, unfortunately, that we write research about and always goes up in value. So explain in a bit more detail then what the key factors were that led you to make the recommendation that you did. What were the things that made you think, hey, there's something good about this company, there's something positive? What were those factors?
As Josue said, they had a revenue sustainable model, and within that revenue sustainable model is the razor blade model, which involves the sales of their sparkling water makers, which is the carbonating machine. Just let me,
sorry to interrupt you, but when you say the razor blade model, just explain. So you're talking about like Gillette and the razor companies that sell you an expensive, don't sell you a fairly cheap razor, and then sell you more expensive razor blades, so that you have to keep coming back and keep renewing and keep consuming the same product. So in other words, you don't buy something and never visit the company ever again. You over and over revisit with them.
That's basically the same concept, but instead of Gillette, which uses the actual razor holder thing, SodaStream uses the sparkling water makers, and for their razor blades they would use their consumables such as their CO2 refills, flavorings, bottles and stuff like that. And so the reason people, just trying to get this head in my mind, the reason people use SodaStream then is so that they can make, well, why do people use SodaStream? What's the benefit? Most people that consumes SodaStream products really use it because it's eco-friendly and because it's a healthier alternative to sugary sodas. So that's one of the main reasons why consumers really buy SodaStream. And why is it eco-friendly then? What's so eco-friendly about it compared to
I don't know, going out and buying, I guess, a bottle of cola or whatever it might be?
Well, as we all know, environmental issues are a big thing now, global warming. So buying a whole can of bottles or a whole box of bottles is really bad for the environment, whilst you can just buy a SodaStream machine with one bottle and you can use that for a long period of time, and it's also dishwasher safe, so it's very easy to use and to clean and to recycle.
And so there may be people out there who are listening to this and going, hey, this sounds interesting. How long does a cartridge, is that what they're called, or the are they cartridges or the CO2? But how many drinks does that make then? So you talk about it being eco-friendly and you're not having to buy hundreds of bottles or hundreds of cans. Do they make hundreds, or is it just 5, 10? What's the sort of size that you make?
Well, it really depends on how much sparkling water you consume in the given time. So you could make quite a few drinks from it depending on the amount of sparkling water you consume. So it's not really set in stone. But
are we talking in the hundreds of, if you take a regular can of sparkling water or a can of soda, are we what sort of magnitude are we talking about roughly?
Around 60.
Okay, so
60.
So going back to your environmental point, every time you're saving 60 cans by consuming one of these products, then you're saying?
Yeah.
And so then you have to, after 60, you have to then buy another cartridge, and then that makes you, that's how it works, is it?
No, you don't necessarily have to buy another cartridge. It's refillable, which is also a point to eco-friendliness, because it's kind of like
recycling.
Sorry? Recycling. Yeah, it's recycling because the cartridges are used again.
And you can easily get them at your local stores, or you can get them shipped in because, so it's very easy to attain.
And people can obtain them here in Cayman? Are we?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can, because they do ship in, like Amazon.
Okay. What other factors then led you to think, hey, this? So you're talking about the environmental aspects, and clearly the world today is moving in a way where people want to be environmentally friendly. People want to try and reduce their waste. They want to try and reduce the amount of stuff they throw away. So that makes a lot of sense, that a company that's able to reduce that wastage is going to be more successful than someone that helps create all that wastage. What about, when I was training as an investment analyst, we talk about profits, we talk about revenue and sales and how they're progressing. How was that then for this company? How were they doing in terms of all those hard numbers? Are we going to come to the person who wants to be a charter holder who's going to answer that one, eh?
Sure. We calculated the revenue growth of the company for the past 5 years to give us an average of negative 0.64. But this was caused because of the reconstruction that they had in 2014 and 2015, slightly reducing their revenues. But if we get a normalized average of these past 5 years, we would get an average of 8.4.
So that's 8.4%
in
sales growth each year.
In revenue growth, right? And also we saw that management predicted a 12% revenue growth.
So they're saying, management of SodaStream are suggesting that they think they can deliver 12% sales growth each year for the next 4, 5, 6 years or so.
That's correct.
And you thought, and why did that mean in your mind that makes the company a positive company to invest in? What was the reason for that? Is that better than others are doing in industry? Do you think that's a good number?
I do believe it's a good number. We set our terminal growth at 7%, and it was just because it was actually very conservative to other industry members such as Coca-Cola that has been operating at a 15% revenue growth for the past 30 years. And taking this 7% for terminal growth, it actually gave us a valuation of the $98 approximately.
Excellent. Perhaps other factors, but what was the biggest risk you saw for the company? So when you make an investment recommendation or investment analysis, you look at what are the positives and what are the negatives, and obviously you weigh up the positives and weigh up the negatives. So what did you think were some of the risks the company faced?
Yes, actually, we considered two most important risks for the company. The first one would be the political risks, because SodaStream is headquartered in Israel, and as we all know, the state is in not very stable political climate right now. So we consider that, but we kind of disregarded that because we found that although the company is headquartered in that country, they have been minimizing their country risk exposure by expanding their manufacturing and distribution channels globally. The next one then would be the foreign currency risk. It has both a moderate impact and probability. SodaStream, it was subject to Israeli laws, and they are susceptible to exchange fluctuations. So this risk exposes them to the adverse changes in their revenues and profitability. However, according to our research, we saw that the company has been engaging in hedging transactions, such as derivative contracts, which minimizes their potential losses.
So what I'm hearing from you is that you identified some key risks and then evaluated those and said, well, we see that the company's taking certain steps to mitigate those risks,
yes.
which means that those things that we thought were positive, we can rely on to a greater extent because the risks
yes.
that we've identified are less important, not unimportant, but they've done
we
things about
considered
them.
it, yes,
Perfect.
but we disregarded it.
So does anyone, we are very close to the end of our show, unfortunately, but I guess one burning question: does anyone around the table own a SodaStream, or are you going to be going out and buying them? Has anyone bought one of these products then?
No, not yet.
Sir.
Not as yet.
Not as yet,
Not
but
as yet.
I guess that would be the next thing. Maybe one on campus at UCCI, just then everyone can consume environmentally friendly product then.
That sounds lovely. That sounds like a good idea.
Excellent. Okay, look, we are unfortunately, as is often the case when we're here on Money Sense, close to and in fact almost out of time. So I'm going to go around the table and wish all of you very well done. Congratulations for participating. You did get through from the first round to the second stage, which was the ability to present in person to the judges in Miami. So congratulations to every one of you for doing that. I personally was present at the presentations that you all did, and I know Manisha was also present, and I can say as a somewhat neutral observer, obviously I live and work in the Cayman Islands, but I can say as a neutral observer that I thought your presentation was very, very good and very impressive, and I thought that you did a really fantastic job of representing the Cayman Islands. So I think all credit to each and every one of you, and obviously to Khadisha and Manisha, thank you both for being involved and helping these helping these students represent the Cayman Islands. With that, I'm afraid our time is up. Before we leave, just want to thank all of our listeners and remind you that today's show will be available as a podcast on the CFA Society Cayman Islands webpage, and encourage you, if you have questions, to email us at moneysense@candw.ky or tweet us at moneysenseradio. With that, thank you once again, goodbye, and please do tune in 2 weeks' time to Money Sense.